Dad wished he could replace me with the neighbor because his hobby matches my dad's, so I gave him his wish and acted like I don't exist around it, which my mom, 43, agreed to. Recently, Mason has been coming by when my dad works, chatting and helping out with small tasks. I didn't mind this arrangement, as my dad and I have other activities we do together. However, everything changed last Sunday. I went to ask my dad something while he was in the garage with Mason. As I approached, I overheard their conversation through the open door. My dad was praising Mason for his work, and Mason mentioned doing similar tasks with his own father. Then, my dad said something that hit me hard. He told Mason that he was the kind of son he had always wanted. Those words stung deeply. I never realized that my lack of interest in cars was such a disappointment to my dad. Although I knew he still loved me, it suddenly felt insufficient. I retreated to my room without saying anything, and he remains unaware that I overheard his comment. Since then, I've been distant towards my dad, only responding when necessary. Both my parents have noticed and asked if something's wrong, but I've been deflecting their concerns. The situation escalated when my 19-year-old sister persistently questioned me, and I eventually confided in her. Now she's also not speaking to our dad and is treating him more harshly, though she's keeping the reason secret as I requested. The atmosphere in our house has become tense. My parents continue to ask why we're upset with our dad, but neither my sister nor I are providing answers. I'm torn between letting it go and returning to normalcy or addressing the hurt I feel knowing my dad is disappointed in who I am. Now, I'm grappling with whether I should forgive my dad or continue to hold on to these feelings. The situation has left me questioning our relationship and wondering if I'm wrong for not being able to move past his words. Am I the butthole if I don't forgive my dad? Then one night, the tension finally reached its breaking point. My dad cornered me in the kitchen, his eyes filled with a mixture of concern and frustration. "I can't take this silence anymore," he said. "I need to know what's going on. Why are you and your sister treating me like this?" Taking a deep breath, I decided it was time to confront the issue head on. "I heard what you said to Mason," I began, my voice shaking. "That he was the kind of son you always wanted." The color drained from my dad's face. "You heard that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," I replied. "Do you know how much that hurt? It made me feel like I'll never be good enough for you because I don't share your love for cars." My dad looked pained. "I didn't mean it like that," he said. I was caught up in the moment, excited about sharing my passion. "But that doesn't mean I don't love you or that I'm disappointed in you. You're my son, and I love you for who you are, not for what hobbies you have." "But it doesn't feel that way," I said. "It feels like you wish Mason was your son instead of me." My dad took a deep breath, tears welling in his eyes. "I'm so sorry you felt that way," he said. "I never wanted to make you feel like you weren't enough. I love you, and I am proud of you. Maybe I haven't shown it in the best way, but it's true." There was a long silence as I processed his words. Finally, I spoke. "I don't know if I can just forget what you said, but I don't want us to keep drifting apart." My dad nodded. "I understand. Can we work on it together? I want to show you that I love and appreciate you for who you are, not for what you like or don't like." I looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity there. "Okay," I said, "but it's going to take time." "I'll be here," he promised, every step of the way. It was a start. Not a perfect one, but a start towards healing the rift between us. And maybe, just maybe, we could rebuild our relationship stronger than before. A few weeks passed, and although the tension had eased somewhat, there was still an underlying discomfort between us. One Saturday morning, my dad surprised me by suggesting we go out for breakfast together, just the two of us. Hesitant but willing to give it a try, I agreed. Over pancakes and coffee at a local diner, my dad brought up a new topic. "I've been thinking a lot about what you said," he began. "I realize that I haven't made enough effort to understand your interests. So, I was wondering if you could show me what you're passionate about." I blinked, taken aback. "Really?" "Yes, really," he said with a small smile. "I want to know what makes you happy, even if it's not cars." A warmth spread through me at his words. "Well," I said slowly, "I'm really into photography. I love capturing moments, telling stories through pictures." My dad's face lit up with genuine interest. "Photography? Huh? That sounds fascinating. Could you show me some of your work?" I nodded, eager and relieved. "I'd love to." That afternoon, I took him to my room and showed him my collection of photos. To my surprise, he was genuinely impressed and asked thoughtful questions about each one. It felt good to share this part of my life with him. From that day forward, we made it a point to spend time together exploring each other's interests. My dad even bought a camera and we started going on photo walks together. In return, I occasionally joined him in the garage, not to work on cars, but just to be there, sharing the space with him. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it was growing, evolving into something better than it had been before. My dad learned to appreciate me for who I am, and I started to understand his passion in a new light. In the end, it wasn't about cars or photography, it was about finding common ground and learning to love each other for our differences. And as the months went by, the words he had said to Mason began to hurt a little less. Because now, I knew that while he might share his hobby with Mason, it was me he shared his heart with.